when I don't see ourselves as an elite institution. There's a limited horizon that most people see. If I don't make it to top 3, I'm useless. That is not realistic thinking. Not everybody makes it to the top in everything in life. Huge number of IIM graduates that stagnate at the middle management level. They don't make it to the top. Well, the little I can speak about myself is that this is my third 5-year term as director of IIM Kozhikode. I've been here for as long as I can remember. However, my career started in IIM Calcutta, and I went to MIT on a Fulbright, came back and joined IIM Lucknow, spent quite a few years, went to Harvard for my second Fulbright, and when I came back, there was a dream that was awaiting a destination, and this was the destination. And I have been director in IIM Kozhikode for almost 3 5-year terms, perhaps the longest serving and surviving director of a first generation IIM. IIM Kozhikode is the space from where I evolved my signature as a professional and as a leader, and I belong here. You know, the world has moved beyond planning for a career. We don't plan for careers anymore, we craft our careers. And so I think the students who come here with a very clear aspiration to make an impact, not as a business school student, it's a management school, which means we have an extraordinary array of opportunities, starting from publishing, ending up with corporate consulting. So entire range of it. You can own a football club, you can write your own book, make your own movie. And so this is what has happened in terms of career destinations. And we cater to that by bringing in a cohort of students with diverse capabilities. We are diversity champions. We were the first among Indian institutions to bring in a diversity quotient that was unheard of. This year, 59% women in our flagship program. The opportunities that lay before you are not determined by what the market says, because you define the market. You can be entrepreneurs, you can be wealth creators, you can be shapers of the destiny of this country, you can be a political leader. We have such people from within our cohort. When I don't see ourselves as an elite institution, 50% of our students come from underprivileged backgrounds. We are an excellent institution. There's a difference between the two. Elitism, when it is confined to a handful in the upper strata, economic strata or political strata, that you can call elite. IIM by no means is an elite institution. It's an institution that defines excellence as inclusive excellence, not exclusive excellence. And here people from the remotest corner of Chhattisgarh can rub shoulders with somebody from Copenhagen, and he can get a salary that is unthinkable from his parents' perspective. And so we transform. Western world is born out of a sense of exclusivity, which says that the more I can exclude, the better off I am. That's how colonial structures work. However, Indian model is that you have to create not just value for money, but value for money for many. And so you can't create a very strict structure of exclusivity. You have to open your doors for people unlike yourselves to come and benefit from your knowledge, whatever. And so our orientation is that we want to globalize our ideas in a way very different from how, let's say, America or Europe globalizes ideas through their institutions. They are looking at Western ideas and ideals to be imposed on, or if not imposed, at least disseminated among emerging economies. We see that, you know, it is not our job to influence the Western world. Our job is confluence. We go beyond influencing in a one directional way. We will give something to you, we will learn from you, and that is how we grow together in a very symbiotic, interdependent world. Just influence mechanism will not work. Western world is about influencing the world. Our world is about confluence. So you influence, but you also get influenced. The world is changing, as I said, because if the real growth story of the economy is not in the Pacific, not in the Atlantic, but in the Pacific, then it stands to reason why Indian managers, Japanese managers, Chinese managers will be relevant to the global order because their markets are here. They have to speak the lingo of the market. They have to speak Hindi, they have to speak Mandarin, Japanese, and they have to be familiar with the marketplace. So when the buying power shifts towards us, the recruitment patterns will change. See, if you have a major multinational company which employs Indian talent, Indian managers, they will tell you that Indian managers dominate the recruitment space because of their ability to adapt to Western models, yet retaining their ability to navigate their indigenous markets. And so, whether it is Morgan Stanley, whether it's McKinsey or BCG, they are all looking for Indian managers. And look at the number of Indian CEOs that head these organizations, starting with Microsoft, Google and all of that. And so you will see increasingly the power shift that is happening in the economies will also dominate the narrative shift. So the narrative shifts, the language of commerce, of business, of recruitment is going to shift eastward as our economy gets more affluent. Satya Nadella did not make it to any of the IIMs. So you get the answer, right? And so it's very good if you get to the top. But if you don't get to the top, it simply means that you still have hunger to get there. Which is better, a satiation at the top or a hunger at the bottom? Which will give you the momentum for success. So those who don't make it, the other 99% who don't make it, have chance of being the president of the country as well. So you see, there's a limited horizon that most people see. If I don't make it to top 3, I'm useless. That is not realistic thinking. Not everybody makes it to the top in everything in life, right? You may be a top athlete, but you may not be a top cat taker. So the fundamentals have to change in our way of looking at careers. A career is not a linear progression from start to the bottom that you have to be at the top everywhere. You must choose your fights. So fundamentally, even great institutions are not looking for toppers all the way, although it helps to tell you that this guy has a good persistence in terms of academic achievement, but that's the only one small unit. So the assumption that unless I'm at the top, my life is useless is a misplaced assumption, and it has been created by largely by the social architecture that says, or parental aspiration that says either my way or the national highway. I mean, this is not how a student should think. They should choose courses, they should choose schools based on where they want, who they want to study with, their peer group, or the subject they want to study in. So maybe there's a small family business course in particular B school, which the top 3, top 4 may not offer. So you go to the next 3, next 4. So you're not necessarily running the same race. You see, there are multiple races that you're running. Within the same, you're running multiple races. So you have to be aware, first and foremost, of the vast terrain of opportunities. And the top only has one singular LA through which a lot of people have gone, but that necessarily is not the only path, right? There are multiple ways, multiple trajectories, multiple paths to excellence. Excellence cannot be defined by a specific school, by a specific journey. If you ask me how many Harvard Business School graduates or Harvard graduates make it to the top, first of all, they recruit people at the very top, and not everybody makes it to the top. There's a huge number of huge number of IIM graduates that stagnate at the middle management level. They don't make it to the top. And so top has a threshold value, has a perception value, only in a small way, but there's a larger world out there. CA plus MBA, engineer plus MBA is simply a way of negotiating different complexity levels that you have to navigate. Once you move from one career trajectory to another, for instance, if you're a chartered accountant and then you have to head an enterprise, just accountancy knowledge is not adequate, right? You are a journalist, you want to be an editor. Journalism of the kind that you've done may not be adequate. You have to learn editing skills. And so why would 1 to club because your work X is suggesting to you that you have to go to the next orbit. You need a more general view of things. You need to know more about the world beyond your expertise. I would like to call this flexpertise, flexible expertise. I am a chartered accountant, but I want to manage an accounting firm. I am a top lawyer, but I want to have a law firm. So to manage a law firm is not the same thing as being a top lawyer. So to manage a law firm, you have to know how to manage human beings who are different from you, how to manage financial resources, how to do operations, how to market your firm against competition. That requires a general. So I would suggest a more appropriate orientation should be, I am a specialist, I'm an engineer or a chartered accountant, I work for some years, hone my specialization skills, and then I'm flexible to move to the next orbit, which is not expertise, which is flexpertise. And sometimes flexpertise is very critical for your growth, next curve. The Singapore's finance minister is announcing the budget of Singapore, and he says, as a result of my budget, Mrs. Lee, who buys 100 kgs of rice from Orchard Road and brings it to Clementi, as a result of this budget, she'll afford 150 kilos of rice and she can take a taxi instead of public transportation. This is flexpertise. He's not talking the lingo of an accountant. He's not talking about budgets being allocated in specific proportions in defense, this, that. He's talking the language of the common person who wants 100 kilos of rice at lesser price, easy to transport. And so flexpertise means that I have been an expert in something, but I have to take my expertise to people who do not have that kind of expertise in the general space. So I have to have awareness of expertise of other kinds. That is why MBA comes in. So MBA gives you a vast window of options. MBA has a very strict entry barrier, but it has got multiple exit options so that you can apply your expertise. Chetan Bhagat ended up writing books. His expertise was banking. So did my student, Amish Tripathi. He went into mythology from management and from financial. So he has an expertise of a certain kind, but he had to go beyond his expertise to make the next move or the next impact. And so a degree that enables you to morph your skills in multiple ways rather than just one particular way.